The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. When Judas had gone out from the upper room, Jesus said, "Now is the Son of Man glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself and glorify him at once. Little children, yet a little while I am with you. A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also are to love one another. By this, all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." The Gospel of the Lord. Jesus said, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another." Words we heard this morning taken from the Gospel of John chapter 13, 31 to 35. In the Gospel of today, taken from the account of St. John, Jesus said to his disciples, to his followers, "I give you a new commandment. Love one another." I am particularly touched by the adjective Jesus used, new. How can it be that the commandment, love one another, is considered a new commandment? Does it mean that people before the time of Jesus were not required by law to love one another? I don't think so. Because even the Jews, right from the beginning of human salvation, had always practiced two major commandments: love of God and love of neighbor. And Jesus Christ, when he came around, at various instances in the gospel, or in the Gospels, acknowledged the existence and practice of these two commandments. So, if the commandment, love one another, had been in existence even before the arrival of Jesus Christ in flesh, especially among the Jews, why was he talking about giving a new commandment? The same commandment the people had known and practiced. So what is new? When Jesus talked about giving a new commandment, love one another, he was establishing a new way of interpreting that commandment, a new way of understanding it, a new way of practicing it, a new way of observing it. Meaning, therefore, that the way the Jews had practiced and interpreted and understood the commandment, love one another, was wrong, and therefore was no longer acceptable. So, how were the Jews, or how was this commandment interpreted and practiced by the Jews? The Jews at the time believed that the commandment, love one another, only mandated them to show love, kindness, and compassion to people they know, the members of their families, their communities, their friends, or anyone they believe that deserve their love and affection. In fact, for the Jews, or for a Jew, there is nothing commanding him or requiring him or her to love a stranger. It is not his business, because it was not commanded by the command or by the law. So to love means that I must have known you, or that there is something in you that makes you deserve my love. Therefore, the old way of interpreting and practicing the commandment, love one another, was that I love you because I know you, or that you are lovable. I often hear people use the expression, and sometimes I use the same expression, expressions like, she is lovable, or he deserves my love. And I often ask myself, are there people who are not lovable? Are there people who do not deserve my love? A few weeks ago, I traveled to Nigeria. And while going, I had a lot of chocolates and biscuits for my nieces and nephews and friends. It was much anyway, and they got a lot. So they were grateful and happy. Out of excitement, that very night I arrived, one of my nieces came to my room and then was gisting me and also playing with me. In the course of that play, she said to me, "Uncle, you know you are my best uncle." I said, "Wow, I didn't know that." I feigned ignorance because I wanted to hear more. So she started telling me nice things about myself, and I was enjoying it. Then towards the end, she said to me, "Uncle, you know, whenever you come home, we are happy and excited because of the chocolates and biscuits you bring along. So, Uncle, please, do not stop bringing those chocolates and biscuits, otherwise you're not going to be my darling uncle again." I said, okay, that is the bomb. You know, my being a darling uncle is tied to my ability to bring chocolates and biscuits. If for any reason I don't bring those chocolates and biscuits, certainly I will lose my award as the best uncle and I won't be lovable again. She spoke like a kid, and I understood her. That was her own way of expressing her affection, her love for me, tying it to chocolates. But the funny thing is that some of us adults, we still operate on that level. You are a darling, you are a sweetheart, you are lovable as far as you have something to offer. You are appreciated, valued, loved, and celebrated because there are certain qualities in you that appeal to me or to my appetite and fantasy. That was the old way of loving one another. And Jesus said to his disciples, no, you don't need to love because you know the person. You don't need to love because the person is lovable. You need to love the way I have loved you. You know, I don't want to be loved because of certain personality I exhibit. I don't want to be loved because of certain talents or qualities I have. I don't want to be loved even because I am a priest. If you love me because I am a priest, what happens to that love if tomorrow I am no longer a priest? I am not thinking of resigning anywhere. But what if tomorrow, for whatever reason, I quit the priesthood or something dent my priesthood? Will you still love me the way you loved me when I was that vibrant priest? Or are you going to tune down the volume of your love for me because I'm no longer that priest? You see, when love is built on something, whatever it is, talent, character, personality, or even expectation, when love is built on something, if something happens to that upon which that love is built on, that love shatters. It comes to an end. If you love me for a reason, then what happens if that reason is no longer there? But if love is built on the person as a human being, irrespective of who he is or who they are or what they have or how they behave. If that love is built on the person as a human being, even if the person becomes stupid tomorrow or goes south, the love remains. And that is what Jesus said. I want you to love the way I have loved you, because irrespective of what you are doing to me, I still love you. So you don't love because I know you or because you are lovable. I go back to my encounter with my little niece. After that encounter, I advised myself that I must always try as much as I can to bring home a lot of chocolates and biscuits, because I don't want to lose my award as the best uncle. If it means bringing more chocolate means more love for me, then more chocolate, more love. But come to think of it, if that is the way we love one another, if that is the way we express our love for one another, if that is the way we build our love for one another, how long do you think that love will last? I tell you, if I go home tomorrow without a chocolate, I will lose my title.